So in the last class we studied about these topics, that is methods to study the mineral requirement, essential mineral elements and role of nutrients. ये सब हमने पढ़ा था mineral nutrition chapter में. So आज जो दो topics हम पढ़ने वाले हैं उनके names हैं mechanism of absorption of elements and metabolism of nitrogen. Now let us discuss कि why are these topics very important in this chapter. Now mechanism of absorption of elements is इसलिए important है that we have to know how and in what method does a plant absorb all these elements or minerals from the soil, because elements तो वैसे बहुत सारे होते हैं soil में, but the plant cannot absorb all of them. ये इसलिए important भी है कि हमें याद रखना है because the plant already has a large number of minerals stored in its vacuole. So let us say this is a plant cell, okay, and this is the surrounding, okay. So जो plant cell में होता है, there is two-layered cell wall and the cell membrane, plus there is a vacuole, a large central vacuole जो plant cell में होता है. So there is a nucleus even जिसके चारों तरफ this endoplasmic reticulum. So when we talk about the vacuole already has a lot of minerals. The plants usually store all the minerals in the vacuole, and in the soil comparatively less number of minerals present. So ये बहुत ज़्यादा difficult हो जाता है because अगर आपके पास ज़्यादा quantity में कुछ हो, let's say यहाँ पे we have more number of some element and we have less, so obviously ये होता है कि there is diffusion, और अगर ये semi permeable membrane हो तो there is osmosis. But what will you do जब आपको यहाँ से यहाँ ट्रांसफर करना हो एलिमेंट्स को? So you will devise methods by which you can transfer even this minuscule quantity of minerals to this side, या आप energy use करोगे. So when you are using energy through some methods, energy intensive हो, आप उसे ऐसे ट्रांसफर करोगे. So we'll talk about these methods now, कि कौन से वो methods हैं जिनसे plant does this. Okay, so when we talk about mineral nutrition, mineral absorption in plants, तो उसके दो types हैं. एक है which is known as ओके, देयर आर टू मेथड्स. एक होता है एपोप्लास्ट मेथड पाथवे, या दूसरा होता है सिम्प्लास्ट पाथवे. सो विल डिस्कस व्हाट आर दोस. नाउ एपोप्लास्ट मेथड जो होता है, दैट्स अ मेथड जिसमें प्लांट विदाउट एनर्जी यूज से जो सॉइल है, सॉइल से, क्योंकि हमें ये याद रखना है कि प्लांट जो मैक्सिमम एब्जॉर्प्शन कॉज करता है, द एब्जॉर्प्शन इज थ्रू द रूट हेयर्स. ओके, so imagine there's a lot of root hairs, or this is also important कि the number of root hairs in plants is always quite large, okay, and because ये जो root hairs हैं, they are very fine in structure, उनका surface area बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. So these are the root hair and these are the soil particles. So what does the plant do? The plant actually plant will try to get all these minerals into the intercellular spaces or the free space of the cells here. Okay, so the moment जब plant elements को या minerals को soil से लेके cells के intercellular spaces या free space में विदाउट द एक्सपेंडिचर ऑफ एनर्जी उसे ट्रांसपोर्ट कर लेता है, दैट इज नोन एज द एपोप्लास्ट पाथवे. तो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड इट्स वेरी इजी एपोप्लास्ट पाथवे, बिकॉज हम प्लांट के, जैसे हम पहले डिस्कस करा था, हमने प्लांट के वैक्यूल को अब तक टच नहीं किया है. तो सिंस द वैक्यूल इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व, तो जो फ्री स्पेस है, फ्री स्पेस डज नॉट हैव दैट मेनी मिनरल्स, so easily soil से the elements can come to the free space. So this is basically what is the apoplast pathway. But next step जो होता है, which is important, which is the simplast pathway. In simplast pathway what happens is the cell will get the cell will move these minerals from the apoplast pathway या intercellular spaces से लेके वो inside the cell के रास्ते से वो उसे xylem तक पहुंचाएगा. So ये जो मेथड है, that's an energy intensive method, because as you can know कि यहाँ पे एक vacuole involved है. So vacuole में बहुत ज़्यादा concentration of mineral elements है, तो उसे overcome करने के लिए it has to use energy. Okay, so इसे बेसिकली हम ये भी कह सकते हैं कि there is an active method or active process, and there's also a passive process. Okay, there's an active process and there's also a passive process. Now the net movement of substances into and out of the cell is known as flux. So what is flux? I'll write it down somewhere. Okay, flux. Okay, so flux is the net movement of ions into and out of the plant or plant cell for that matter. Okay, so जो active method होता है, as its name implies, active method uses ATP. But जो passive method होता है, passive method में we use other methods जो हम अभी discuss करेंगे, and this does not use ATP. Okay, so we'll discuss what are the methods for passive first, then we'll move to active. So we'll talk about passive first. Now there are different theories that are given for passive absorption. So we'll discuss all those theories. Now why is it important ये theories discuss करना? Because it is through this theory you can understand कि what was the previous idea, सबसे पहला idea क्या था, और उसके बाद वो idea develop कैसे किया, and finally what did we reach today, कि how does this absorption of mineral take place. The first method is known as ion exchange method. It has two parts: contact exchange and second is carbonic acid exchange. This is the first one. The second one is Donan equilibrium. and the third one is mass flow or bulk flow. Okay. So before we start discussing each of these, we'll talk about them a bit. So the first theory is ion exchange. Now ion exchange का मतलब क्या होता है? Ion exchange का मतलब होता है you exchange one ion for another. So let us say I have an ion X minus, or this is the ion that I want. It's in the soil. Okay. And मेरे पास presently है OH minus. तो मैं क्या करूँगा, या if imagine I'm the plant, so what will I do? I'll take this OH minus, transfer it into the soil, and I'll take this X minus and take it inside the plant. So in short, मुझे जो maintain करना है वो है charge equilibrium. In short, the plant has to maintain some amount of positive or negative charge at a very fixed amount. तो इसलिए if I'm like sending a negative outside, I'm also taking a negative ion or anion in exchange of that. So that is basically what is ion exchange method. और ये जो ion exchange है, that works between the root hair cells and the colloid of soil. Okay. So ion exchange के भी दो मेथड है. फर्स्ट इज कॉन्टैक्ट एक्सचेंज. ना कॉन्टैक्ट एक्सचेंज में ये होता है कि देयर इज द रूट हेयर के जो सेल सरफेस है उस पे बहुत सारे लेट्स से आयंस, कैटायंस, एनायंस, दे आर एब्जॉर्ब्ड ऑन इट. सो व्हाट डज द प्लांट डू इज टेकिंग दीज एब्जॉर्ब्ड आयंस, it exchanges it with the ions which are present in the colloid of soil. Colloid means it's a concept of chemistry, colloid. So colloid is, let's say you can say it's a mixture of a definite proportion of a definite molecular size. So contact inhibition mein there is exchange of ions between the ions which are adsorbed on the root hair and those on the outside. Okay, so plant basically क्या करता है, plant will take the H plus ion और कोई positive ion which is present in the soil उसके साथ वो exchange करेगा. Plant will take the OH minus ion और बाहर जो कोई भी negative ion होगा उसके साथ वो exchange करेगा. This is ion exchange with contact exchange method. Okay, the next is carbonic acid exchange. ना कार्बोनिक एसिड एक्सचेंज में क्या होता है, द प्लांट एज यू नो कि रेस्पिरेशन तो करते हैं, इवन दिस रूट हेयर्स, दीज आर आल्सो लिविंग पार्ट्स ऑफ द प्लांट, सो इवन दे विल डू रेस्पिरेशन. सो रेस्पिरेशन में एज वी नो फाइनल प्रोडक्ट क्या होता है, CO2 और H2O प्रोड्यूस होता है. सो व्हाट डज these two things do? CO2 plus H2O, they will react, it's a reversible reaction. They will react to give H2CO3. Now this H2CO3 is also known as carbonic acid. Okay, so ये जो carbonic acid है, it's not the end product till now. Carbonic acid जो है, it will again break down to give H plus HCO3 minus. This is the hydrogen ion, and this is the bicarbonate ion. Okay, so again यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो डेफिनेट पैटर्न फॉलो हो रहा है. हमने इस केस में द पहले केस विच वॉज कॉन्टैक्ट एक्सचेंज में भी वी हैड H plus and OH minus. यहाँ पे भी we have a positive ion and we have a negative ion. So we have a basically a cation and an anion. तो जो हाइड्रोजन आयन है उसे द प्लांट कैन एक्सचेंज विथ any positive ion, that is with any cation, and जो bicarbonate ion है that can be easily exchanged with any negative ion or anion. So these was the ion exchange method. Now talking about Donan equilibrium. Now Donan equilibrium talks about ionic equilibrium. Okay, Donan equilibrium talks about ionic equilibrium. Now ionic equilibrium का मतलब क्या होता है? इक्विलिब्रियम तो उसे आप ब्रेक कर लो, इक्वी मतलब इक्वल. सो यू हैव टू मेंटेन अ डेफिनाइट अमाउंट ऑफ आयन और डेफिनाइट अमाउंट ऑफ आयन और उनके चार्ज ऑन आइदर साइड ऑफ द मेम्ब्रेन. सो डॉनन इक्विलिब्रियम टॉक्स अबाउट दिस फैक्टर कि whenever there is positive charge accumulation in the cell, उसे न्यूट्रलाइज करने के लिए the negative anions will come from the soil into the root hairs. In short, they will neutralize these charge which is the positive charge, and in this method they will gain entry into the root hair, और उसके बाद they will gain entry into the plant and the cells. The last method is mass flow or bulk flow. Now mass flow or bulk flow का principle क्या है? In the previous chapter you might have studied about transpiration. Now what is transpiration? Transpiration ये होता है कि when the plant is respiring or when the plant is losing a lot of water through the aerial parts, so there is creation of a suction force, and ये जो suction force है that is equal to when you like drink cold drink with the help of a straw. You try to create a pressure difference because of which the cold drink comes out through the straw. यहाँ पे भी the plant does that. It will lose water through the leaf surface, and जैसे it will start losing water through the leaf surface through the other part of the plant, let's say the stem, what will happen is there is a suction force or a pressure difference that will be created. अब इस pressure difference को fill करने के लिए water will start rushing towards it. और ये जो water है it's not present in drops, it's present in a long column. Column का मतलब होगा it's present in a very long continuous stream या flow. Let's say this ये पूरे में there is water filled. Okay, so as soon as आप यहाँ से पानी खींचते हो, this does not break, it keeps on growing, coming until it reaches the aerial parts of the plant. So in this way transpirational pool maintains a continuous stream of water. Now ये जो method है that is mass flow or bulk flow. Mass flow or bulk flow में भी the same thing is happening. Due to the transpiration happening in the leaves, the plant is taking up water. But यहाँ पे catch है, the water is not simply water, it has electrolytes as well. Electrolytes यहाँ पे वो anions और cations है which it has absorbed from the root hair. Okay.